This segment of Face to Face with Wondrous Women and the Wondrous Woman of the Year Awards are brought to you by TLS Graphics. A member of the Green Press Initiative, recycled and environmentally friendly papers are available for any project.
Welcome to Face with Wondrous Women. I'm Ruth McCurdy, your host, and today Virginia Neely is my guest. Virginia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You know, one of the things I love about you is your passion, and you seem always excited. In fact, my husband and I every now and again will laugh and call you a little human Yorkie. So hopefully you're not offended by that, because we think that's very dear.
I don't know, you love Yorkies.
I know, exactly. So you're right up there with us. But what makes Virginia's heart sing?
I would say, well, I'm a teacher, so kids, no matter if I'm in school, at the grocery store, at the mall, at the movies, wherever kids are, I just always get so happy when I see children. Yesterday, I was at the vet taking my dog. I have a new puppy to the vet, and one of my students walked in, Miss Neely, and it was just made my day,
I bet. Now, when did you figure out that you wanted to be a music teacher?
Well, music's always been a big part of my life. My grandmother played the cornet.
Really?
And yes, and my mother played the tenor saxophone, and my dad played the euphonium, and my genetic line is linked to Gene Autry, who wrote the song Here Comes Santa Claus.
I had no idea.
Yes, so music's
gosh.
just been part of my life forever.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so you teach what age group?
I teach kindergarten through 5th grade, so the ones who can't quite read to the ones who read what they shouldn't.
That's a good way to describe
it. Yes, well.
So, describe a day of teaching for me. What kind of goes on? And
well, in fact, while I was on my way over here, I was thinking, okay, how am I going to structure my classroom this year? So, because I always try to do something brand new and keep it cutting edge. So the day starts with teaching the oldest group of children, and that'd be the 5th graders, and as the day progresses, the content gets to be younger. We're going to be in the classroom, we're going to be moving, kids are going to be excited when they come to my room because it's one of the classes that most resemble recess to them.
Right.
It's organized recess, as I like to say. And they learn without even knowing that they're learning. They kind of get tricked into it just by having a good time.
Yeah, that's great. Well, now you do kindergarten through 5th grade. Have you ever worked with people outside of the school in the music arena community?
Oh, yes, I do. I teach private piano, so I teach adults and high schoolers and grade school kids like I do at school. And I also work with a high school youth choir at my church, and I work with the 6th graders, getting them ready to go into that youth choir as well.
Good. So your life is just filled with music.
All the time.
Yeah.
It never turns off. It's all up here all the time.
That's great. And you're also pursuing your doctorate now.
Yes, in educational leadership. I have a master's in educational leadership as well, and I'm working on becoming a better advocate for all children that I meet, not just kids in the music room, but everyone at the school. What can I do to make the life of a child better and their experience at school the best?
And one of the other things that I love about you is you're just swamped. You've got so much stuff going on all the time, and someone says, I need, and you go, pick me, right? You're always willing
This arm will not stay down.
I know, and I don't know how you pack it all in.
It's busy.
You know, Virginia, one of the things that I love about you is you're always thinking outside of the box and coming up with fun ideas. And I saw something on Facebook the other day about you and chocolate sprinkles.
Yes. My Facebook profile picture right now is quite hilarious, I do have to say. I'm wearing a sweatband here, and my hair's in pigtails. And I have on a duct tape Rambo type artillery thing, and it's filled with straws and sporks. And sporks are, of course, spoons and forks in one utensil.
Right.
So that's what we have at our school cafeteria. Well, my school was having a spirit night at a local restaurant, and the restaurant was having eating contests and lemon squeezing contests and things like that the teachers would be participating in, and you'd have your students cheering you on. Well, of course, I teach every student in the school, so I'm letting them know, Miss Neely's in the ice cream contest, 6 o'clock, you better be there. And so I have on this crazy outfit. I've got a Ziploc bag duct taped to my shirt in case I can just dump the ice cream in there. Because I have type 1 diabetes, I didn't want to just go crazy eating ice cream, but I had to have some gimmicks.
Well, of course.
So part of my Rambo sport straw sash thing was this old workout glove that I can't find the match to. So I duct taped that to this sash, and I put a bottle of chocolate sprinkles in there from the grocery store. So I put a bottle in there, and it was my secret weapon. And so there were 3 teachers. I was one of them in the ice cream eating contest. And the lady at the restaurant said, "Ready, go." And so we started eating. Well, the rule was you can't use your hands and you can't use any utensils, but you can use your face and you can figure out how to get it out of the bowl. Well, underneath the table, I unleashed my chocolate sprinkles. I unscrewed the lid. I poked the hole in the safety seal. And then all of a sudden, once the teachers are going, here I'm in the middle, and I take out my chocolate sprinkles and I start shaking them and I dump them on them. The teachers I was eating with said, "Miss Neely, we found chocolate sprinkles in our ears. We found them inside of our shirts. We found them in our hair the next morning." It was everywhere. And the kids that were all around, because there were so many kids there, because they knew Miss Neely was eating ice cream at 6 o'clock. They were there, and they said, "Go, Miss Neely!" And then all it turned into was, "Miss Neely, you're a cheater!" And so they were very angry that I was cheating, but what they were doing is they were scooping up the chocolate sprinkles and either eating them or throwing them at the teachers as well.
So they had a good experience.
And I told them, "Boys and girls, Miss Neely didn't win. See, cheaters never win." And so they got that nice little moral lesson from it. But there were kids who were still mad at me the next day. "You were cheating! You were cheating! You're not supposed to cheat!" So
That is so funny.
it was a very good time.
Well, as women, we always, well, maybe you don't feel quite as obligated, but sometimes I feel like if I'm going to have a picture made, I've got to look all good, know. And I love that about you because, I mean, you've got the craziest pictures. You just get out there.
I do.
And good for you. I think it's good. Just let yourself go.
Thank you.
But you can tell it brings you joy. And one of the things that you said one time was that you were driving down the road and you were multitasking and having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and all of that. And I said, she is truly a wondrous woman. She's making it all happen at once. So that's great.
Not driving with my knees, but
no.
I've got the sandwich here and I'm driving and someone,
No texting.
no texting. No, hands free.
Okay, good.
Just hands on the steering wheel.
Exactly. Well, we're going to take a quick break. If you have a moment, think about someone that you would like to see on our show. And also, there's got to be some wondrous women in your life that you would like to recognize. So go to wondroussawards.tv and nominate your wondrous woman. We'll be back in just a moment.
This segment of Face to Face with Wondrous Women and the Wondrous Woman of the Year Awards are brought to you by TLS Graphics. A member of the Green Press Initiative, recycled and environmentally friendly papers are available for any project.
Welcome back to Face with Wondrous Women. I'm Ruth McCurdy, your host, and today my guest is Virginia Neely. Virginia, you've been sharing some fun and excitement in your life that you spend all of your days pretty much with music.
I do.
And that can't be bad.
No, not at all.
Soul. That's very, very good. Now, one of the things that I've been impressed with, you're getting your doctorate, I understand. How do you pack all of that in?
Well, many of those things bring me joy, and so to me it doesn't feel like I'm packing anything in. My mom always told me, "Virginia, you have to take time to put apples back in your basket." You can have a basket full of apples. You start out with one every day, and you pass them out to different people by volunteering and by saying, yes, you'll do things and taking care of people. But at some point in the day, you have to be able to pick up apples and put them back in your basket because you need some just for you and for you to start with for the next day.
Right. That's very good advice.
She's very wise.
She is very wise, and she obviously did a very good job raising you. That's good. So often we get discouraged and things come in our life that make us unhappy, but you seem happy all the time. So what's your secret?
I look for the joy in everything. I try very hard. I'm very much one of those silver lining kind of people.
Yeah.
If the world seems to be falling apart, well, then we get to remake it.
Yeah.
That's the good news. So let's just finish with it falling apart and let's just get on to the remaking now. So I look for the good in people and the good in every situation, and that really, really helps.
You told me one time that you stay away from negative people. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, as an example, for one of my doctoral classes, we had to take this test online, and it was just one of those, what are your instant thought kind of tests. And you had to associate political figures or prominent figures in culture with words that were good or bad. So words that were amazing, that would be a good word, or awful, that would be a bad word.
Right.
So something would flash on the screen, and you'd have to push a key on the keyboard for a a good word or a certain political figure, and then another word would flash on the screen and would be a bad word and would be another political or cultural figure.
Okay.
Well, I did enough so that way I would be able to talk smartly about it in class and say, yes, I did this test and this is what I think about it, and I understand what it was going for.
Right.
But after a while, I just stopped. I didn't finish the test because I didn't like how it was associating bad words that had bad feelings or something, with political figures or cultural figures that I respected. This isn't one of the characters that they used, but for example, they could have said Mother Teresa, who's she's a wondrous woman,
Yes,
right?
she is clearly.
Okay,
She's a
so they
wondrous
could
woman,
have
yes.
said Mother Teresa, and they would say something awful, and you'd have to associate Mother Teresa with awful.
Really?
And I didn't want to do that anymore.
No.
I thought, okay, I understand what you're going for, and I'm going to stop right here because this is not the kind of connections I want to be established in my mind or in my life. So I just stopped it right there.
Good for you. Well, you know, I think oftentimes we get ourselves in a situation and we put up with it. And I think that what I love about you is that you are very, very clear about what you're passionate about. You're clear about what you want in your life, and that's what you surround yourself with. And I think my hat's off to you, because not everybody, not every woman out there feels that wants to, but they don't really have the confidence necessarily to do that. So if you were to think of any pearls of wisdom that you could impart, because we've got some of our viewers are younger, some of them are older, but what would you say to them that you just want to make sure they know comes from your heart?
Well, I'm going to steal what my mother taught me about the apples again, because it has made the biggest difference in my life. To think about this tangible, physical thing that you can touch and you can pass out to people, but then you have to collect it back just for yourself. And when you have extra, that's when you get to give more to others. And you shouldn't have extra. That's why you get to give it away.
Right.
But always look for that opportunity to share and then to be shared with.
Exactly. Well, and you know, doing what you do with your young people, my imagination is probably going wild right now, but I can imagine you've probably even said that story to some of them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So you're paying it forward. You're giving that feedback to those kids, and the exciting thing is that they're going to remember that. And my guess is,
Hopefully.
oh yeah, and my guess is that they're going to look back and they're going to remember their favorite teacher, and that's Virginia Neely.
Well, we'll see, but that would be wonderful. But yes, that would be great.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It really has touched my heart. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on Face to Face with Wondrous Women.
This segment of Face to Face with Wondrous Women and the Wondrous Woman of the Year Awards are brought to you by TLS Graphics. A member of the Green Press Initiative, recycled and environmentally friendly papers are available for any project.